responsible. I had been discerning. I had been diligent. No matter. The effect would have been the same if I had slacked off at work, binged on Netflix instead of studying, and gambled away my inheritance on those bad sports teams I still love. What do you do next when your life's motto turns out to be a lie? If you're like me, first you turn to despair. I didn't handle things well. I was lost. And the more I looked inside myself for answers and solutions, the more frustrated I grew. I found no resolution. I found no peace. After all, I'm the one who got myself into this mess. Why did I think I could get out of it by the same way? I wasn't in control, and that was the hardest part of all for me to handle. I learned there are many paths to lose your way, and only one way to find it. My shepherd. Throughout this ordeal, I knew myself to be a Christian. God had shocked me at age 15 with an experience of His grace. I wish I had the proper words to explain it to you. I just remember that, one day, I was a brooding teenager who didn't understand himself and didn't know how to fit in. And the next day, I knew joy and belonging. I'm not sure at the time if I comprehended much more. At some level, I finally felt the truth of what I had previously only been told, that Jesus loved me and had forgiven my sins, so I will live with Him forever. This conversion surprised me, because all I had known of church to this point was begrudging participation. I couldn't wait to graduate from church. I didn't understand the fuss. There are many good ways to spend your Sunday. Sleeping, watching football, more sleeping. Unless this Christianity thing is real. But it sure didn't seem real to most of the folks I knew at church. Why bother with the charade of dressing up and dragging yourself out of the house to hear old songs and a short message of questionable relevance? Jesus might have risen from the dead on the third day, but we didn't know where to find Him, or bother to look very hard. So it caught me, my friends, and my family off guard when suddenly I knew Jesus lived in my heart by faith, Ephesians chapter 3, verse 17. And I was happy. That was the weirdest thing. I've always been known as a fairly serious person, even as a young child. It's not easy for me to make fast friends through small talk. Jesus, though, made me happy. I felt as though I had found myself in the way I was meant to be. The truth is that I had been lost in myself, but Jesus had come to find me. In my church growing up, we had a big, beautiful stained glass window in the back. Jesus held a shepherd's rod in one hand and cradled a little lamb in the other. It's the kind of symbolism you take for granted if your earliest memories include the church. But it's understandably confusing if you're reading the Bible for the first time and wondering about all those seemingly outdated images of God as a shepherd. Probably the most famous example comes from Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for You are with me. Your rod and Your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. We see here an image of a God who goes before His people and walks beside His people. The psalmist, David, understands God as an intimate companion, a reliable comfort. When Jesus arrives in human flesh in what we know as the New Testament, He picks up on this shepherd imagery of God, and He applies it to Himself as the Good Shepherd. John chapter 10, verse 11. But Jesus confuses the exact people who have been reading, reciting, and